Finally, we are starting to get back to normal here in the Hunter Classic, but having spent the last two videos on North America maps for our first day of rifle season video and the Thanksgiving turkey hunt, I wanted to switch it up at least a little bit and come out here to Val-Des-Bois, and there's two competitions that I thought we have a decent shot at. The first one is to harvest the highest scoring red deer from a platform, be it a tree stand, tripod, tower, or the shooting tripod rest, and the second is to harvest the heaviest female brown bear with a shotgun slug. I thought that one was kind of interesting. I've never participated in that one before, so we're gonna head out and see how we do. Now, of course, there is no weapon requirement for the red deer competition. The only requirement is to use a platform of some kind, but when on the ground, we're actually gonna have to go with the shotgun to be able to actually use the shooting tripod rest. But in cases such as this, when there's a red deer with no real chance, we're gonna be better off using the bow, and I am fully prepared to be rusty with this cableback bow and not have a lot of drop shots. I can't actually remember the last time we used it. Of course, the previous two videos were a shotgun hunt and a rifle hunt, and not too long before that was the muzzleloader hunt for the Tennessee video. I don't know if we used it in between, but regardless, I'm just happy we got a lung, and I still think, despite the fact that we spooked everything, it's gonna be better than just firing the shotgun for what I think is gonna be like a 180, 190 red deer. And after a not too bad track, right about 200 meters, we get to see it was a left lung at 23 meters, which that's not exactly the shot distance I want to go for a lot with the cableback. We try to bring them in as close as possible. Less than a 2-minute wound time and a 181 score. Now, I'm kind of thinking, because there's a stag right there, but it's roughly in that same score range, we might just fast travel. There are two red foxes right here in front of us. One just walked behind that rock, and one's out there a little bit farther. Maybe we should check on that? Somehow we just identified a track instead. Oh. Yeah, I think we can fast travel. 85 to 115 is not going to cut it. And I just want to jump to the other side of this island, kind of get around the red fox rather than spooking them and just pushing them forward in anything else. I think we're better doing this. However, we got that stag calling, and there's another one right here close. I could hear its footsteps. We just made it, and I do believe the call that we heard was the stag that was on the hill, roughly the same size as the one that we already got. We'll just go ahead and call, though. Bring that guy in, probably bring the one from behind us in, and ideally, hopefully, a bigger one that we can't see yet. Now, in this case, this actually will count for the competition. Despite the fact that we are using the cableback bow again, we're able to take him from the tree stand, and that'll count. Now, I actually didn't even look at the leaderboards. It's pretty safe to assume we'll need a 260 plus, if not 270 plus. So anything like this we're not even going to worry about, but 133 score puts us in 33rd. Probably only got to double that to have a chance, so hopefully we'll have an opportunity to do so. Two things though. That's a big fox, 25 to 32, and then all these hinds just sort of appeared here. There is a lot going on. We've got a cross fox coming in. We called in a female fox here. Another stag has appeared. Max weight estimate, if that was a weight comp, we'd maybe be in good shape, but only up to 225. And our potential high-scoring fox is still just kind of slowly working his way in. Now, my concern is, I think, foxes that are just sitting under your stand sometimes will spook. So I'm trying to make sure we keep calling and take as little time as possible to get this guy into range, but I don't love that they're right under the stand, and it was our only choice. With the red deer right there, we couldn't get out of the stand and call from a distance away. So I think, as this guy approaches, we may take a maybe slightly farther than ideal shot, especially with that angle. I think we're more likely to make a decent shot with that, so once he kind of gets through there, I think we'll go for it just to try to save ourselves the effort, and that'll work. Was that the only thing we shot from here? I think in the end it was. So the good news is he walked all the way in, which is sometimes indicative of like a decent scoring one. If you have kind of an average one with a really good estimate, they'll typically end up trotting in. So let's see. Up to 32, good enough weight estimate. A 12.9 weight though, 28.4 is not bad. It's not quite 30 plus, so not going to be one to taxonomize, unfortunately, but still, by far, I mean, 105 CSS, by far the best option we had there. I think it probably should have been fairly obvious from the amount of red foxes we were seeing. This is a fairly heavy fox spawn, or at least not a typical spawn, because we're actually down here by the bear barrel, and a lot of you guys I'm sure will know, even if you don't have the barrels filled, you'll typically still have a bear or two kind of wandering around, and I didn't even see any tracks. I think that's probably because we just don't have what is kind of the regular spawn for Val-Des-Bois, and I don't know what to really make of that as far as what that's going to mean for the remainder of this hunt. I do feel like when you're not hunting over a barrel, for whatever reason, the ratio of male to female brown bears is like 70-30 female to male. It just always seems that way, and I kind of thought that would give us a better chance, but it ain't gonna matter if we see 0 bears if it's 99-1. As for what we can control though, 0 for 2 trying to drop red deer from the ground, although in both cases long shots, so no complaints. Another, I would say below average tag, almost 200 kg and a 154 score. And I do want to continue forward just a little bit more north, maybe to like where we can see to the outpost. That's about as far as you'll see red deer. Now we could encounter brown bear further north, but I was hoping to kind of be in areas primarily where we could encounter both. So I think the plan will be get up to that area. If we can find any more stags or brown bear, we can go for them, and then we'll probably try to hunt sort of up through here. That's another spot that you'll often see a brown bear and red deer in the same area, so that'll be the goal. But based on what we've seen so far, it's hard to say what's gonna happen from here. We are finally moving in the right direction score-wise, and again, it's not going to be one that could maybe be top 3, but I think even still, we'll go ahead and try to take it with the shotgun slug just to improve our score a bit. We're gonna fast travel anyway, so really don't think it can hurt. And of course, naturally, he's gonna walk up the hill where we can't get a shot, but I think right in through there should work. Might be a little far back, but I'm fairly confident that's going to bring him down. Well, that was officially less than ideal, but still brought him down. It still will increase our score, maybe 10 or 15 points, something like that. 200 on the nose, actually. So, brings us up to 28th, but still far below where we need to be to get top 3. So, there was one female bear track down here, but it was up to 230, like a really small one. I think 330 or thereabouts, actually that's the track right there, was the first place, and maybe second was around 300 and third was in the high 200s, so there's no point tracking that. And I guess that's going to be what we do. We may fast travel to the same spot and walk our way through here too, just to cover some more ground. There could be bears down here. I've seen them down here many times before, and well, oh, that's the stag that was coming in when we were in the stand. I kind of wanted to shoot that, so now we have. I guess that'll work. That's going to be our biggest one again. 230 kg, that would have, if we were in a weight comp, done a halfway decent job. That is not the case though. So, now that we've kind of gotten that guy out of the way, another one, right in that same size range. If we could just kind of go a tier above that, that would be great. Got another red deer up there. I mean, do we sit in the stand and call again, or do we kind of... I think we're going to let them go and move on, rather than having them all come in and then shooting one and spooking things potentially forward and spooking what we haven't seen yet. We'll just sort of pass on those ones. There may be hope for this hunt yet. We have a 230 to 350 kilo female brown bear track, and we just had a red stag call at the top of the hill, so we'll worry about the stag first. The bear tracks are fresh enough that they shouldn't disappear, and actually, ideally we shouldn't have to click off that track anyway, as long as we can make a good shot on the stag. And I mean, 45 minutes old, we can probably use the shotgun, and I mean, heck, it might be one good enough to set up the shooting tripod rest, and then we should be able to head back down and track it down. Well, I guess it was maybe wishful thinking, although the stag's not too bad, kind of that 200-ish rack, but a little more narrow. I think it's, yeah, 205 to 230, so maybe the 2 teens rack, but more narrow, so I'm guessing 208, something like that. We'll go ahead and take him with the slugs. Works a little bit better if you don't shoot him in the intestines, it turns out. We'll pack this up, get our stag, and I'm going to look at the leaderboard currently for the brown bear competition, and I can't even remember like how long was left in it. It might be one that's over in like 6 hours. It might have a day in 6 hours, but I just want to get a sense of what we're looking for. 211 for that guy, which I think actually, again, makes it our best stag of the hunt thus far. And apparently we clicked on a rabbit track, but we'll get down there, and bears are typically pretty easy to track. As long as you don't just run the entire time, if you walk or even crouch, you can usually honestly get into bow range if you really want to. Well, I guess this is one way to do it. It is, or was, going to attack us. So at this point, why not make the most of the situation? I don't think it matters how many times we shoot it. That'll work. Hopefully it's not a single shot. I read through the competition requirements as we've been tracking this thing along, and it turns out this particular one really did not like to be in a spot where we could get close. Every time it was something like this, it would be like down off a hill or just beyond some boulders or whatever where we couldn't see it. We actually lung shot the thing. Considering how insanely kind of off bear hitboxes are, the fact that we managed that on the run's not a bad deal. But let's see, it was up to 350 kilo. It is a day and 6 hours left, so honestly I have no idea what typically wins this comp. It is 244 though, all that for basically the absolute bottom of the estimate. It did allow us to place, so good to know we can use multiple shots, but not even top 10. Well, that would just about figure. Up here, kind of near our other barrel, is a pretty good sized bear, 24 to 28. Weight that is enough for it to potentially be high scoring. The score estimate means it's probably going to be 26-ish, somewhere in there. But the one that we shot on Himmeldal, it wasn't that incredibly heavy, but it was our biggest one ever, somewhere in that 440 or 450 range. So I suppose we'll try to scoot into range here and take him with the slugs. And unless there's a female bear hiding in the trees or something, it's probably going to be our last kill. And considering the fact that we're kind of stuck, the water's too deep, while he is standing still or backing up for whatever reason, I think that hit kind of low. I'm hoping it's a lung, especially considering the fact that he's making it really difficult to get a follow-up in there. It looked like we hit almost the same spot. But on the opposite side, this would be about right. We would have a fleeing one that we lung shot no problem, and then one that's standing still that we actually struggle with. I mean, should we put a fifth shot out there? I guess. Maybe it'll take him down. I don't know what's going on right now. I think he betted on this. That is a perfect ending to what has been quite the hunt out here. Never could quite get it on the right track as far as winning a competition trophy, but that takes the cake. We literally have one slug, by the way. So I don't think it won't get back up. So I guess it doesn't really matter where this impacts, but it sure would be nice to be able to get the heart. I don't even know if I can tell where to aim. Did it just die? I think it did. But shouldn't it have rolled down the... I don't know. I'm kind of thinking... I do recall that when they die in their bedded animation... What is that? They don't, like, ragdoll. They stay in that animation. Which is... I understand what they're going for. It's realistic. They would kind of stay like that if they weren't on a cliff, which they wouldn't bed there to begin with. I mean, what a... Oh, okay. That's good. I guess his paw's gonna do that. We're just gonna screenshot that. And left front leg, right front leg, body, body, and body. 26 score ain't bad. Kind of in that same category as our fox. And for the most interesting bear we've shot in a while, we'll take a quick trophy shot. Apparently there's a trophy shot pose that's just that. I don't know why, but we're in the worst spot. I mean, there's just nowhere good we can take a photo, so what the heck? Fitting for the hunt that has been out here on Val-Des-Bois. And I think we'll wrap it up with that. No competition trophies will be won from this hunt, but generally a good time. we're going to keep trying on these red deer comps, and it feels like it's this one every single time we come to Val-Des-Bois, so maybe we can luck into a weight comp again, or something a little bit different to switch it up. I feel like anytime that we hunt red deer and don't hunt for a comp, we can get a 260 in an hour and a half. 2.5 hours in a competition, didn't even get a 240, but a good time. That ending with the bear was just literally the perfect ending for this type of hunt, and I think on that note, that is going to do it for this video. So as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.